right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of another Bourbon Show. As you can see, we have a guest tonight. We have Kelly. Kelly decided to come back and see us again. Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
So Kelly, if you remember, she is from Asbury Park Distilling. And how have you been, Kelly?
I've been all right. How about you guys?
Not bad.
Yeah, all right.
Doing fine.
Doing better than Ryan is. That's all that I care about.
Fantasy football's ruining my day.
Yeah, I'm in last place, so.
Oh, I'm not that bad, so.
Yes.
I'm like playing the violin as the ship sinks. It's
okay. Now we have more. We got a lot more viewers now since last time you're on here. Okay, so it's okay. Try to get comfortable. Feel free to settle in. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a much different experience this time around.
Yeah, professional. We've upped our professionalism. That's really what's changed.
We got a fish tank,
Two fish tanks.
That's great.
I don't know did I have those when you were on last time, Kelly?
You still had the clocks, I think.
Yeah, okay. So that's right there. But I just changed things. So, but yeah, I gotta keep it keep people
That's
engaged.
What the people come back
guessing.
for. Yeah.
That's right. Doesn't my tank look really clean today though? Like I was marveling that it looked really. What's that?
Did you clean it today?
No, I cleaned it. I cleaned it on Thursday. It's just like all the parameters are like perfect right now, and I don't know what I did.
I was gonna compliment your pH balance earlier, but thanks for bringing it back up. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right at a 7.4, which is exactly where I want it for my fish. So, So Kelly, you're joining us because tonight we are drinking this beautiful bottle right here. And I want to brag a little bit because we have an autograph here and an autograph here, and I can't read either one of them, but one of them is Kelly and the other one is Bill. Do you know which one is which, Kelly?
Hers is the one on the left.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
This one's yours?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah, I got to practice my new signature though.
And that one's Bill.
Yes.
Okay. So tonight we're going to be drinking this one, which is batch 4.
Mm-hmm.
The newest.
Not the newest.
It's not. I know.
That one came out in May. Yeah. And then 5 came out like a couple weeks ago. So you're a little behind, but that's okay.
This one sucks, doesn't it? This one is like the one that you'd rather forget about. You're like, we got to get the 5th one out quick. That one was trash.
Don't tell anyone that.
Well, tell us about batch 4.
Batch 4 was one of the first times we had like a lot of barrels to choose from. So we were like, this is going to go really well. But the thing about having a lot of barrels is that you also find some duds. So I would not recommend inviting all of your friends to come and do tastings with you if you haven't vetted the barrels already, because we had some real flops. I guess that makes us look better though, because like we managed to put together a good blend from all of the not so great barrels that we found that were at the right age. Yeah, so I think that the average age was like 2.5 years on this one. Yeah. Oh, 5 is like the most recent in my mind. So now I gotta like remind myself of like 4.
Yeah,
4,
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So like if you remember with batch 3, it was really different. Like it was like a lot of like stone fruit and all this. I think this one is more bourbon-y. Like I know that's not very descriptive, but like it's a lot more like classic bourbon flavors than I think you're gonna get than we got in 3. 3 was just magic, but that's okay.
3 was amazing.
This is still good. It's still good.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, you were talking about batch 4 being the first batch that you helped distill the liquor. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think all 100% of these barrels I was here for. Like I think 3, there were still some where like I hadn't yet started there. But 100% of these like batches that went into this whiskey, I was there for. So
your hands were all over this one.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
I think so too. It's really cool. I'm proud of it for sure.
You should be.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, we
Yeah,
liked 3 a lot,
sure.
so you've got a lot to live up to.
I know.
I was
Oh,
looking at the scores last time. I gave it an
Yes.
8.7. Connor, who was on, gave it an 8.3, I think. Ryan was 8.4, and Dan was a 7.7. So it was a scathing review from Dan,
I thought it was shit.
but pretty high from everybody.
Yeah, three was my. I just wanted to temper your expectations. 3 is still my favorite batch ever, but
Okay.
I still like 4. I don't want to I don't know. It's hard to compare.
That's what we do. Hey, it's not easy. It's not for everybody, but that's exactly what we do here.
easy.
Every week, we're getting back in the trenches.
That's right.
Dan, thank you for your service.
What a hard job.
Now, I do want to make sure that people understand, in case they don't know. I liked batch 3 enough that I sent out a blind of batch 3 versus E.H. Taylor Small Batch to see which people preferred. And Asbury Park won. They preferred
every time.
Well, it happened once, and that person definitely but it was clearly they preferred, and they had no idea. They didn't know that it was a true complete blind. They had no idea what were in the 2 vials. But it turns out it was E.H. Taylor Small Batch and batch 3 of Asbury Park, and they preferred Asbury Park pretty significantly.
They call that a double blind in research, by the way, Dan.
Do they?
I'll teach you some research stuff.
Steven, I fucking hate you so bad sometimes. Well, what do you say we dive into some batch 4 of Asbury Park?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers. I love the nose.
Very similar nose, honestly, as last time. At least what I recall as last time.
Yeah.
I agree.
A lot of that yeast you pick up. A lot of the,
I was going to ask, what's the mash bill on this, Kelly?
It's 62.5% corn, 25% rye, and 12.5% malted barley.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I almost got I get unbaked bread.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't. So I was wondering if there was some wheat in it.
No, that's next.
But there's not. What's that?
That's next, though.
Is it?
That's one of our 2023 projects. Yeah. But yeah, no. There's just barley, rye, and lots of corn, all Jersey grown.
Okay. Yeah, with that I get a really strong sense of unbaked bread, so I was curious if there was some wheat in it. But okay.
Mm-hmm.
Smells great.
I think it's from the barley. I think it's the pale barley. Because when it's fermenting, that's all it smells like is bread. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get unbaked bread on the palate too, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
And I actually get some notes I've never gotten before as well on this. I get some and this sounds like it's a bad thing, but it's not. It's one of those kind of notes, but it's like a grass, or if you chewed on the stem of I don't know, a long stalk of grass or something like that.
We got a lot of hay in the barrel samples that we had. Yeah. Or at least that's what I described it as.
Yeah, hay's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this is a really earthy whiskey bourbon. Really earthy. So
the thing about 4 for me, so I always thought that if you call a bourbon a really good cocktail whiskey, it's kind of like when someone has an ugly baby and you're like, oh, that's a cute outfit. You know what I mean? It's just a knock. It's great. It's a knock. I always thought it was a knock, but I've had this in a lot of cocktails, and it actually I think it stands up really well. I'm trying to identify what it is about this that makes it so good in cocktails, because I've tried it and I've tried the other batches in cocktails, and like this is the best one so far. And I think maybe it's because it has a little bit more earthiness. It's not like super sweet. So like when you pair it with sweeter flavors, it kind of like holds its own.
It's also got a strong backbone to it. There's a lot of warmth as well. So I
Yeah.
think it's not going to get lost if you mix it with something else. It's not getting diluted very easily.
Agreed. Yeah.
Cool legs too, Steven. You probably, I don't know if you've noticed that too on it, at least my glass.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah. I get a lot of oat
Like
on it.
teardrops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were these all in 30-gallon barrels again, or
30-gallon barrels. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
We got like, I think we have like, most of them are getting to be like 4 years old. Like then for the next couple releases, they're like really close to 4. And I think we have like maybe 12 more 30 gallons before we're only going to have 53s left. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We're getting into it.
Kelly, did I send you any of our barrel pick that we did?
No. I would love to try it.
I'm going to send you like a 4-ounce sample bottle of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4-year in a 30-gallon barrel. And
a 4 grain.
Oh, it's a 4 grain too, yeah. I would match it against, I'm not shitting you, like Pappy Van Winkle 15. Like
Right?
I think it's that good. I really honestly do. But I only thought of it because it's a 4-year 30-gallon barrel, and some of your 30-gallon barrels are coming up on 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But this has got like a really neat, subtle sweetness to it. Like it's not like overwhelmingly sweet at all, and like the sweetness that it does have is like hard for me to describe. To me, it's got a very Scotch essence to it.
I can see
Especially
that.
the aftertaste. Whenever you're just sitting here like talking now,
Yeah.
it has like it's almost like a peaty taste.
Yeah.
We got
I don't really get that. If I did, I'd be like, I don't really like Scotch. It's hard for me to drink. I don't really get that at all.
Okay, so American Single Malt. Let's call it an American
Okay.
Single Malt style, but that same style, right? Like that, like heavy barley
Yeah.
with a little, like I don't get any smokiness to it, but I get like a savoriness to it. Like I get a savory sensation to it, not necessarily smoke. Very, like it's just well rounded. I like it.
Good. Okay. Good. I'm always nervous when people drink the whiskey that I make. I like it, but I made it, so yeah.
Do you often do you have people that come in for tastings and they'll give you like a super honest impression whenever something is not good?
Sometimes, yeah. Like especially when people just like walk in and like I'll be happy on the tasting or whatever, and they'll be like, "Oh, like listen, I tried the bourbon." I'm like, I make it. I don't think you know that. It's not nice. But yeah.
So there have been 2 different people that I've sent to your distillery, and neither of them have walked through the doors because they didn't think that they were supposed to, like, allowed to, like, show up. I don't know if it's because the bar wasn't open but one of them was Ryan's brother, Matthew. Matt and his girlfriend were out, and they spent like, about a week out on the East Coast in Jersey and whatnot.
Yeah, Jersey and New York.
They stopped by, and Matt told me, he was just like, yeah, we like showed up and it didn't look like they were open, so we left. And I was like, dude, you should have like knocked on the door or something.
Yeah, knock on the garage door. If I'm there, I'll let you in. Like that's like kind of my MO. We like just let everyone in if they're not open and just what's going on. We do a lot of bottle sales during the day. If people walking by, like, can I get something? Yeah, sure, whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
We're gonna start doing tours too on Saturday, which is really exciting. Like and getting ready for those.
Are you going to be giving the tours, or whose job is
Yeah.
that?
That's
Are you-
my job for now, until I get like a script written and like we get it like off the ground. I don't trust anyone else to do the Q&A yet, but yeah.
And how big of an operation are you guys up to now? Is it still like a 3-person operation?
Still, yeah, there's the 2 of us, and then we have 2 like people that work 1 day a week doing like bottling and everything like that, but it's just the 2 distillers. But they're doing projections for next year, and I don't think we're going to be able to sustain that for like what we want to do, because we'd like to get into New York and Pennsylvania if possible, but
I didn't know what direction you meant at first when you said that we wouldn't be able to sustain that, but you're saying that you've got to hire some more people.
I would, yeah, I think so. It's tough. It's hard. It's not as glamorous as some people think it's gonna be. They're like, oh, I'm mopping floors and like filling bottles and like, I don't know. It's not for everyone.
That's the life, right?
Do people think it's going to be glamorous? What do people think that they're getting in for?
Like, so when you watch like some of the documentaries, like, do you remember the Hulu documentary? And it had like, I forget what it was called. There was a Hulu documentary that was like about like master distillers or something like that, and it was like about whiskey and like, you know, like the pictures that you have of people who are like have their tasting glasses and they're like just sampling barrels and stuff like that. Like, I think when people think of distilling, that's what they think the job is going to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's just like attaching tri clamps and hoses and washing things.
I remember one of the things Connor told me one time was, he goes, I think it was on the show actually. I said, what's the thing that would surprise most people the most? And I think his response was, it's way less pontificating over whiskey and way more spraying things with a hose. That was exactly his response.
Accurate. That's accurate for sure. Yeah. I mean, we talk about like whiskey related stuff while we're spraying things down with a hose. Today we were comparing American Single Malt and the direction that that's going with like IPAs, right? So like I firmly believe that the next like the next kind of demographic that's going to get really into American Single Malts are going to be either the guys who are really into I shouldn't say guys, gender neutral people that were into mezcal like a few years ago before it kind of got big and had a moment. And then also the guys who like people, whatever, the people that were like really into IPAs. Like they were like talking about all the hops and like, oh, is this like a West Coast or an East Coast? Like that's going to be the people that get really into American Single Malt in a couple of years for sure.
Hipsters.
I don't know where. Yeah, for lack of a better word. Yeah.
I hate IPAs are fucking gross. I don't care what anyone says. I don't know. I had that moment in college. I know Steven, you and I did. You know, I mean, the older I got, I'm like, shit's gross. Just give me a Coors Light. I know Coors Light sucks, but I'm not gonna like choke it down until it's room temperature.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind IPAs. I think that they're good ones out there, but I don't think they're as skillful as like a good Pilsner. Like if you can make a good Pilsner, you're a good brewer. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
You know, I never really got that. I know what you're talking about, Ryan. We tried some, but I never really got that far into IPAs. One of the most memorable beer stories I have with you is actually us trying out Miller Fortune when it first came out.
So bad.
Which I don't know if you guys even Miller Fortune was there and gone, it felt like. But there was like a couple years where Miller came out with a bourbon barrel aged Pilsner, basically. And it was
barrel aged Pilsner?
Yeah, I mean it was just like their regular stuff, I think, that was just inside bourbon barrels. I think that's all Fortune. Maybe it was a little higher ABV. I don't know. But I think
Pilsner?
I'm pretty
that
sure
would be an odd combination.
We can look it up.
Here, I'll look it up right now.
I believe it. I just don't know if I would like it.
Yeah, I think it was just like their normal Miller. Now, I'll say it was not good.
Okay, there we go.
But they just got in, like at the bar we were at, they just got in some kegs of it. And he was like, "You guys want to try this?" And you were like regulars or whatever. We were like, "All right." So they just poured some for free for us. And I remember Ryan and I going like, "Thank God we didn't pay for this shit."
Yeah.
But they gave us
I
like
get-
special glasses too.
I could tell by like the logo in the point of sale that was up in the bar. I'm like, this shit's gonna suck. Like if they're not even trying to advertise it well, it's not gonna be good. Yeah. It was a red lager.
Okay.
American Amber. Yeah.
Like
Got
a
it.
barrel-aged American amber.
It's really
Which-
bad.
To me, is not that much better than a Pilsner.
IPAs always, to me, IPAs always taste like armpit sweat smells.
What was that other brand, Ryan? We drank that one time that was like, I think it was like one of the Busch kids.
Oh shit. That was terrible too. Well, it was a green
yeah,
label.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
a green label.
I remember it was Billy Bush's.
Yeah, it was like Cold Gig or something like that.
Yes,
Or it's like that. I don't know. It wasn't Cold Gig, but it was like
but it was something like that, dude.
it's some
Craftig,
craft.
Crafty. Yeah, that's what it was.
but it was a
Crafty.
lager.
Was he the one who like had like guns and shit in a helicopter that he landed
Yes.
that he was like hammered? Yeah.
Yeah, and his
What?
how many girls? Like two different girls have died. Like
In his company.
yeah.
Yeah. We need to get him on the podcast.
Just a guy from St. Louis, Kelly. It's it's the famous or like the Busch family that makes
Yeah.
like all the beer. They have like I don't know if it's a grandson or great grandson at this point.
Probably. Well, I mean, it says so. In 2012, he was 52. So probably a great grandson. Yeah, he's got to be a great grandson.
I feel like it's so weird to call someone a grandson when they're 52.
Well, it's important to always recognize this guy as that because that is what he is. That's professional. He's a great grandson, you know.
Professional.
And
Yeah.
he had this pet project that he was spending company money on called Craftig, which was literally just them. I bet it worked for a while, like capitalizing on just the craft market, but it was just a shitty beer that they came out with and was
It was
like
so terrible.
it was
Yeah.
just disguised as like something different, but it was definitely just like the runoffs of like regular Busch lager or whatever. And they threw it together in this packaging with Craftig, and it was like big for a while in that it was just everywhere. Like everywhere you could they'd be like, "Oh, you
In
need
the
to-
St. Louis area.
in the St. Louis area." And you can get like whatever drink specials they have, and they would go, and you could get like a pitcher of Craftig for $1. You know,
Oh my god.
it was like that. So
But you also got to remember that, like in the St. Louis area, the last name Bush is like it's on the fucking stadium, right? Like, like
Yeah.
it's a big deal. Like he's royalty. Like
he could get away with murder and has allegedly.
a couple times.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But also, really. That's a Norm Macdonald.
That's a real allegation.
That's a real Alan.
Oh, this was it. Bush ex Anheuser-Busch CEO had loaded guns, 8 dogs, and pills in helicopter. Then he like landed in like a company parking lot, like in some town.
God bless
Imagine imagine having 8 dogs and then going like, we're going for a helicopter ride while you're blitzed out of your mind.
America.
I mean, how was there any room? Like, how was the pilot actually able to steer that thing without a dog like bumping?
That's
its
why they
ass
had to
in
have an
it?
emergency landing. That's insane.
Okay, so I just did a Google search for Billy Bush dead girl. Okay, I know. Okay, the first hit is from CBS News from January 4th of 2011. The title is Bush Air Devastated, literally in quotes. Like they put devastated in quotes by girlfriend's death. In an interview in Tuesday's St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Bush made his first public comments since 27-year-old Adrienne Martin was found dead at end of Okay,
I
so
think
then
it's important to clarify this. How old was he when his girlfriend was 27?
so based on what I looked up a second ago, in 2012 he was 52.
41?
So he would have been 51. Because in 2012 he was 52. I'm
mean,
seeing
this-
how you got a 54 on a chemistry 2 test. No.
You know, that's what
Yeah, but that still seems like some John Mayer stuff I'm not into. So
the Bush family has on their family crest. It says, "We get older, they stay the same age."
Yeah. I mean, this
line.
the dazed and confused. I mean, this Billy Bush guy. I mean, this guy's a real jerk.
He's a real knucklehead.
Okay, sticking with the Norm Macdonald.
Coming off you.
You know that this Billy Bush guy, you know he has a shirt that says FBI Female Body Inspector. And he's like taking his helicopter around over it. This is my helicopter shirt.
How is he still alive, man?
Every article these are articles from 10 years ago, and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch is still trying to make me pay to read the articles. Like that's how the Bush family has this city by its nuts. You want to read about him killing chicks, you gotta pay. So maybe she was the only one, but I thought there was a second one.
Well, there can be if a lucky lady plays her cards right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there isn't a second one. It just haven't been discovered.
Yeah, facts. That's probably accurate.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It'd be our luck that the Bush family would watch one of our episodes and to be fucking this one.
They have like a whole R&D team. They listen to just like distill spirits.
Let's rate it. What do you say? I'll go first. Okay. I'm going to go with a 7.4. I think it's good. I gave batch 3 a 7.7. This is not as good as batch 3, but it's still good. So I got to go with the 7.3. I think it's interesting. I think that that subtle sweetness is really cool to me. And the earthiness is really, really original. It's really like I can't think of anything that this reminds me of. So in a good way. So there you go. 7.3, 7.4. What 7.3, 7.4?
Oh, you made it.
7.4?
7.4.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, 7.4. Let's go 7.4. And that's my reasoning. It's good. The subtle sweetness and the fact that Kelly, you said that it goes really good in cocktails. So I haven't tried it in a cocktail, even though like this much is gone now. Most of it went to Steven and Ryan. So the rest of it's for me because I paid for it. So I'm gonna mix it with some cocktails and enjoy it and drink it neat every now and then. 7.4.
I'll go next. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think I liked it a little bit better. I thought at first about going with a 7.7 because that was what you gave the last one, Dan. I was like, I think I kind of feel the similar about it to what he probably did last time. But I'm knocking down a few extra points just because it's one of those that I don't know that I would be in the mood for all the time because of the distinct notes. And it was interesting that you said earlier on, Kelly, that you thought it had more of the typical bourbon notes. Because the last few episodes I've been saying that we've had several whiskeys in a row that I think they excel at just kind of just providing you with a typical bourbon experience. And then having this one, it just makes it stand out so much. And that's what Dan's saying. It stands out so much. It stands on its own so much, but it's always a good thing. I think as long as it's not like a bad taste, I think it's always good to be tasting new things with whiskey, or anything, any experience, but it's an interesting thing to come across such a new palette and new notes right whenever we go through 4 episodes or whatever of really similar stuff, to have something come through in this way in a completely different way. it really took me by surprise. I didn't expect this based on like my review of the last one. And so even though I'm giving it a slightly lower score than last time, I think that my excitement to have batch 5 or whatever in front of me, or the Taylor Swift barrel, is super high because both times I've been impressed and I've gotten something that I didn't expect. So those are both good things. So 7.5 for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like the subtle sweetness that Dan was talking about too. And I got a lot of like oats and honey from it. If you remember eating those like Hidden Valley bars growing up, that's kind of what it reminded me of. You know, I can eat those all day long. I really like this. I really like the finish too. It doesn't burn. It gives you a little bit of a hug, but it's very sweet.
Wait,
on
did
the
you
back
mean
end.
Nature Valley? You said Hidden Valley, but
Yeah,
that's
did I
the
say
ranch
Hidden Valley?
company.
That's the ranch. Yeah, I just bought some blue cheese from them.
I
at the
was so
store yesterday.
confused
Yeah.
that I couldn't figure it out. Thank
Ranch
you.
Nature Valley, ranch it up, bro. Ranch it up.
Hey, we're in
Tastes
the
like-
Midwest. We put Hidden Ranch on everything. Hidden Valley on everything.
I just dip chicken wings in it completely, both sides, and eat it. I'm gonna go with 7.9. I thought it was really good. Anything oaty like that, I really like. And then the baked bread that Dan talked about, I thought was really nice. Kind of those sourdough notes that are always really good. So yeah, 7.9.
So Ryan, that really surprises me. I thought you would be lower because you tend to like more decadent, like outright sweet whiskeys, and this is not outright
No.
sweet. So Kelly, take note. Like it's a big deal that he's rating it a 7.9.
Cool. Am I
Yeah, it's
supposed
really
to rate it myself?
Yeah,
Okay.
Jim Beam White Label is 5.0.
Okay. All right. And what do we remember what I gave the Midsummers?
I can
Something,
look that up real quick if you want me.
I think it was like a 9 something.
Yeah,
9.1.
8.9 or 9.1.
All right. So I think this one had like we do 1 to 5 and I think the average of our scores of this barrel was like somewhere between a 4 and a 4.25. So I would say that this on like my scale, adjusting for the 1 to 10 scale, would be somewhere like a 7.8. I actually liked it tasting this today better than I did. Maybe because like I don't know. Maybe because I've had some time away from it. I had a little bit of an issue with getting to like batch 4. After going from batch 3, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
really liking something and then being really excited for the next batch and then having it be so different that you have to adjust your expectations so much. It took me a long time to kind of like be like happy with it. But I am starting to kind of appreciate it a lot more. So yeah, 7.8.
Okay.
You gave the midwinners an 8.5.
8.5. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got to say that I really love, and this is so true, not just about Asbury Park, but about a lot of craft distilleries, that the differences between batch 3 and batch 4 are holy shit different, right? Like if you did them side by side, there is no reason to suspect that they came from the same distillery.
Mm-hmm. Or that
And-
they're the same mash bill.
That was exactly what I was going to say. And they're the same mash bill, and they're the same proof. And they could not be more different.
Mm-hmm.
They're both really good in their own ways. And you've got to just like accept them for what they are and appreciate what each one of them are, even though they're very different. But they're both really good, just in different ways. And so, Kelly, cheers to you and Bill, because that's fucking cool that y'all can do this. Y'all are putting out some really cool products. And you're welcome. And if you have the ability to get some Asbury Park, then get it. Trust that it's going to be good, whatever it is, regardless of which batch it is, right? But but don't go into it expecting whatever it is, right? Like just take, once you open that bottle and pour it, accept it for what it is and just trust that it's going to be good, because it is going to be good. And batch 5 is probably way different than batch 4, which is way different than batch 3. So just accept it, that it's going to be good.
Another brother showing